and welcome back to my channel. It's me, Minnie, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to make fursuit tails of all shapes and sizes. This is my first official tutorial and I am so happy to be releasing it to you, teaching you all the good knowledge from making tails this small to a medium size to a mega large. It's so large it doesn't fit in the screen. So I'll be teaching you how to make the tail ends. This one is the one hook simple tail end for small tails. This one is the slightly larger 2 belt loops tail end, and then also the invisible tail, which has also these beautiful detail of like sliced meat and then hidden belt loops, which are somewhere there. Which are here. So without further ado, let's get into it. Bring on the voiceover.
Hello, it's voiceover me from the future, and apologies if I sound sick. I've just come back from Confuzzled and I have the fattest con crud, but moving on. I am the worst for just winging it and praying to the fursuit gods that things will turn out okay. So I don't pre-pattern anything, I just draw it out on the fabric in a vague shape that I think will look good, and then if I dislike it, I'll just make it again. And I'm literally the worst. I'm so sorry, I'm actually the worst. But back when I started out fursuit making, I did used to make a paper pattern of how I wanted the fursuit tail to look beforehand, and then cut out that paper pattern and traced it onto the fabric and went from there. Nowadays, with my 4 years of experience, I just wing it and it tends to turn out good. So it's up to you how confident you think you are. So I trace and cut out one side of the pattern, then I flip it over and trace it onto the fabric again to cut out the other side. So these will match up perfectly and be beautifully symmetrical. Yay! Then I trace out all the different markings that the tail has. So this one has a whole bunch of spots and the end of the tail is a slightly darker shade of grey. So here I am just cutting it out, making sure that it lines up perfectly with the other side of the tail, and yeah, drawing out all the spots so I know that they will look good. Then I trace out those, the end of the tail that I just cut out onto the darker grey to make sure that it fits exactly how I want it to, and then I'll go ahead and just hand sew that onto the tail because it's not a straight edge, it's got a wibbly wobbly line, because that's fursuit aesthetics for you. Now we're moving on to the extra large and tiny nub tail, which are all out of this beautiful light blue fabric. Oh, how stunning. This is the exact same process that I just did on the grey fabric, but you can see it slightly easier because of the nice light blue with my black Sharpie. Oh, how amazing. Again, I did not make a pattern, I just winged it because this is me we're talking about. So do make a pattern beforehand if you're not confident with the shape of how you want it to look, or just wing it like me. Yeah, let me know what you end up doing in the comments. Fun fact, I've actually never made a nub tail before. In my 4+ years of fursuit making, I've never made a nub tail, so this is a first for me, and I gotta say, they are so cute, and I want to wear one all the time because they're so freaking adorable. Now here's me cutting the end off the tail because that part is going to be red, so then I just trace it onto some red fabric, flip that little piece over and trace it again, and those will be the cute little ends of the tail. How adorable. I will say one thing that absolutely saved me, especially with these tails with lots of small markings and everything, is to actually number them. Put a little number, put a little 1, put a little 2, put a little front, a little F for front, a B for back, whatever you've got to do so that you remember where they go when you next go to reassemble them. I literally felt so smart when I went to reassemble them, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so easy because I did a little labeling beforehand, you know, thank past me. And here I am going deep into the sewing on my beautiful sewing machine. I basically just do a running stitch for every single one of these little markings until they're fully sewn together. Have fun. Someone asked me in a previous video where I got the sewing clips from that I used to clip each piece of fabric together, and I got them off Amazon just under sewing clips. They're like cute rainbow coloured. They were probably less than £5, and yeah, they're an absolute lifesaver. So once all of the front and back pieces were assembled, then I move on to hand sewing all of these individual spots on this beautiful tail, which I will say turned out so stunning, but this process was so long and tedious. And now I'm going back in my voiceover box because you've got present me here. Okay, so I've tried to lay out all the tails here for you to see. So we have the large tail here, which has all been sewn together. The medium tail, which as you can clearly see had a lot of hand sewing to it, but after many hours that is finally complete. And then the little nub tail over in the end. And now we get to sew them all together. For this part of the video, we're going to move away from the time-lapse and voiceover, and I'm actually going to show you step by step how we then assemble these tails. Then we pin it all together. Oh, it's a very long tail. There we go, that's the end. And I make sure to leave an opening here. This bit will not be sewn, and obviously the tail end is also not sewn. And this is so we can turn it inside out and put the stuffing in there and then sew this bit later. But yeah, basically we pin it all together, do a running stitch all the way down, except for this and that. And it's sewn. This tail is so long that I literally cannot get it in one shot, but there it is. Ta-da! There's an opening here and a little opening here, big enough that you can fit your hand in to shove the stuffing down to the end. There, top tips for the day. And here is the little nub tail. As you can see, I've left an opening here and one at the end like we did for the big tail, and we sew it together. And ta-da! It is all sewn. This one was much quicker, much easier to do. And then here is tail number 3, which again, I'll repeat myself. We have a hole here and a hole here. Now we sew. And here is the sewn tail in all of its glory, looking so fabulous. So we're doing the ends of the tails now, and for this you will need a belt that you plan on wearing, or like a standard size belt, as well as some minky, or you can use fleece, any fabric for the end of your tail of your choice. And then this, which is nylon webbing. It's the stuff that's used, you find them in on backpacks and stuff. Yeah, that's all you need. So from here you want to cut out a piece of nylon webbing that is just like a little bit larger than the belt, because you need some space to sew on either side. And then you're gonna draw out a circle / oval shape. I'm going for an oval shape because this opening isn't very large. It's a small tail, so we're going for an oval, and we're going to cut that out of the minky. Okay, so we've got that little oval shape cut out, and then we're basically going to sew this on top just as such, and then all of that will then be sewn onto the tail like that. That kind of gets the vibe, I feel. Sort of. It'll make sense. So we sewed it on, and you can still fit a belt through there, which is the most important thing. And now we're gonna sew it as such to the tail. Here we go. It is clipped onto the end, and now you just sew around. Easy as that. Okay, so this is it sewn together, and now we're gonna turn it inside out and see if it actually looks good. Oh my god, look at this adorable little tail. It's so cute. And yeah, as you can see, you can't really see the
pink bit underneath, but it does fit a belt, which is basically all it needs to do. It's such a cute little tail. Ah! Now we get to stuff it. Same step as tail number 1, where we trace out this circle onto some minky. It's time for tail number 2. Because this one is a bigger tail, we're going to use 2 of the nylon webbing strips like that, and then we're just going to sew along the top so they stay in place and don't wobble around, because right now they just fall off. Whee! Okay, so I have a secret little hack with these that I'm going to show you now. So first of all, you want to take your 2 nylon webbing strips and basically sew them along the top as such, so they're sewn on and they're not sewn on at the bottom. And then you want to cut out another oval that will basically sit over here and cover the bottom, and it just makes it look so professional. Like, it's so easy, but it just elevates that tail like from there to there, you know what I mean? See, you cut out the little semicircle, then we're gonna do a little seam over there, and then this will fold over, and see, wow, so professional. Oh my god, she's a queen. And then it'll look something like this. So you got like that like cheeky little flap, but you don't see it. And then when I sew the top, you won't see that either, and then it'll just be so stunning. Just picture it, guys, picture it. It'll look good. Okay, it's tail number 3 time, and it's the same process as the first 2, where we draw out this circle onto the minky. I'm actually going to use this one, funnily enough. I'm switching it up for the last one, and we still have this opening here for when we turn it inside out. Okay, so this is definitely more of an aesthetic one. So we're gonna do the sliced tail look. So we take our white minky and we'll basically sew that in the middle, and then we take our pink minky and we sew it for the 4 strips around the outside. And when we do this, I take my minky, I basically lay it flat like this, then I put this one over the top, and then I sew. Like, I don't cut it out, and then we cut it out later. It'll make sense. See, so I've sewed around the middle, and there it is. And now we just cut round the edges, and there'll be a little beam in the middle, a little tail, a little bone. See, look at it, it looks so good. And now we do the same thing with the pink for the 4 all around as muscles. So this mess on the back has turned into this beautiful sliced tail end, which we will now sew onto the tail. And you might be thinking, whoa, but there's no like belt anywhere. How are they gonna put it on? Don't you worry. We're gonna have a hidden belt loop, and I will show you how to do that. Yo, look at that tail end. Yes, it's sewed in. And now I'm gonna show you how we do the little belt loop bits, because we're not gonna ruin this stunning pattern that we've made here. We're gonna do belt loops. Okay, so we do 1 layer of foam, 1 minky tube. The belt slides through the minky tube. Let me just pretend that we're sliding it through. Okay, well that failed, but okay, you get the idea. And then other one on top, glue it together. Ta-da! You just basically make a little tube, and then the belt goes through the tube, and then you're gonna sew the ends to the tail. And then it makes a tail, and it looks so cool. I love it. And then let me repeat my analogies. We have foam, tail in tube, other foam, glue together. And then that should make it look good. So if none of that made any sense, hopefully this will. So I've got foam, the little piece of minky, the little tube of minky that you can stick the belt all the way through, and then another piece of foam. And then when we turn this inside out, we'll cut little holes in here and in here, and this end will slide through there. So now we turn it the other way around. So now that we've turned it inside out, this is what the end looks like. And then here is the little slits that we pulled through, which obviously look a little bit crazy right now, but then we're going to trim them down, and we're basically going to ladder stitch them to the outside of the fabric here, and then they will not look so crazy, and you actually won't be able to see them at all. So just trust me there, it's looking good.
And here are the finished tails. Oh my goodness, they look so good. As you can see, I was a little bit fraudulent with how I showed you how I did the belt loop at the end. I actually used the method that I used on the second grey tail for this, so sorry. Here is how the grey wolf tail ended up coming out, which is so stunning, and I love that it has that curl to it. Also, the spots look so flawless blending into the end of the tail. I'm so obsessed. And then this is how the long tail turned out, and it looks perfect. It's absolutely perfect. I couldn't be happier. And here are those hidden belt loops that I promised you were hidden, because you can't see them. They are not there.
And now I'm chilling with my finished tails, because congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. And if you enjoyed it or found this video useful, please give it a thumbs up, like and subscribe to see more content from yours truly. Also, if there are any specific tutorials you would like me to do, please do let me know. I really enjoy releasing tutorials like this, and I would love to make more in the future. So if there's anything in particular you are looking for, please do not hesitate to let me know in the comments down below. Also, if you would like to join me on Twitch for the live streams, everything will be linked down below. If you want to chat with me on Discord, that will also be in the description. And that's all from me. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Bye!